let's make some focaccia.
Okay, so to start for focaccia, what you're gonna need, now this recipe is loosely based off of Samin's from Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. It's just loosely based off her recipe. I've made a few adjustments. But to start, you're gonna take 2.5 cups of lukewarm water. Put that in, and then you're gonna take yeast. You're gonna need a 1/2 teaspoon of yeast. That's it. Now what you do, you need a little sugar to feed the yeast. Because if you don't feed the yeast, nothing's gonna happen. So, a tablespoon of sugar. Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat calls for honey, which is 2.5 teaspoons of honey. This is sugar. 1 tablespoon of sugar equals 2 teaspoons of honey. So that plus a little bit. And now you're gonna whisk it. And whisk it till it's all dissolved. Yeast, sugar, everything dissolved into the water. And set that aside and let that rise, or activate, sorry. Okay, now for our dry ingredients, we need 5 3/4 cup of flour. 5. Next, we need 2 tablespoons of salt. So we use kosher salt for this. 1, 2. Now, whisk it around until it's mixed. Okay. Now you make a little well, you always make a well, and add your yeast mixture. And then, you also want to add a quarter cup of olive oil. And mix it around like a mad person. You should get something like that. Slightly sticky to touch, but not sticky enough to stick to your hand. Put it back into a clean bowl. And what you're gonna do now is you're gonna take more olive oil and you're gonna just pour it right on top here. You want enough to cover the dough and the bowl. I'll show you why in a minute. Mix it around, do. It doesn't have to be sopping wet in oil. Just enough, like that. Just use the dough as the applicator. There. Now, you just need to cover it with plastic wrap. Okay, now that it's loosely covered in plastic, now we're gonna sit and watch it for 12 to 14 hours. Alright, now that this has doubled in size, it's been sitting for 12 hours, we're not going to punch this down. Do not punch it down. Set it aside for the time being. Get yourself a little bowl with 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt and 1/3 cup of water. Pour it together. This is a salt brine that we're going to use to pour over top of the focaccia. Just mix it together with the fork. Alright. Next thing you need now is a baking sheet. Take your olive oil and smear your pan, or else it's going to stick to your pan. And now you can fold this on top of itself over here, just like that. Put that in your sink. Now what you do is with your hands nicely oiled, you reach under it and you're going to stretch it very gently. Now it will fall a little bit, but that's okay.
Yes, stretch it out. Very gently underneath.
Okay, so you get something like that. Okay, so now that you stretched your dough out, now what you get to do is you get to dimple it. You just take 3 fingers and just push it ever so, just like this. Okay, and now your next step is where your brine comes in. Take your brine and fill all the dimples. Doesn't have to be completely full, just get some brine in them. 4. And now we cover and let proof for 45 minutes. Make sure you preheat your oven to 450 after about 30 minutes into the proofing. Okay, now that the oven's preheated, we're going to take a little bit of salt and we're going to sprinkle it right over top of it. Just a little bit, and now we just throw it in the oven for 30 minutes, center rack. Okay, so now we're going to take it out and adjust the rack to the top and cook it for another 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, take it out. You have something like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take more olive oil. I know you use a lot, but drizzle it. Take a brush and just smear it around. And let that cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. That is how you guys make focaccia. So, hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next video.